So how does being genderqueer affect my dating life? It affects it quite a bit because whoever I'm going out with has to be cool with it, you know? I find that going out with someone who is genderqueer or somehow in the queer community and maybe even a little bit bi kind of helps because it makes it a little bit easier to find a sort of negotiation point, you know, where what I've got in my head and what I've got between my legs and everything doesn't have to be quite as rigidly structured, you know. If you've got someone who rigidly defines himself or herself as gay or straight, or who really just can't stomach gender fluidity on some level or another, then it's going to be a real sticking point in the dating and in the relationship. Back when I was kind of keeping it under my hat, I would get into relationships without disclosing it, and it would become an issue over time because after a certain point it's kind of like too late to bring it up, you know. And so I just don't do that anymore. I avoid running into that problem because once you pass over a certain point in the relationship, it kind of becomes a trust issue, potentially, because somebody's got to wonder, well, you know, what else is not being disclosed? Why did it take so long for this to be brought up? Is it an insecurity issue? Is it, you know, did Sydney not tell me because of, you know, not trusting me? Can I trust Sydney? What's the problem? And so these days I'm just so completely openly genderqueer. Of course, now actually thanks to the estrogen injections, you can pretty well tell by looking at me that something's not quite the same. You might not be able to tell over camera, but you can tell when I'm walking around because my body shape has changed. But so it has affected the range of people I go out with then, and how I approach relationships in general. And I have found that there are some really decent people out there who would probably be more or less okay with it had they known at the right time in the relationship. But if you sit on it for too long, it's just problematic. So that comes down to a good old-fashioned question of just being out. And these days I'm out so much. I kind of like to be in a relationship with someone else who is kind of queer and maybe a little bit genderqueer as well, because I'm not just genderqueer, but I'm also bi, and so I like to have that openness and that fluidity in the relationship itself. but I'm not married to it. I can personally be involved with someone who is gay, straight, cisgender, bigender, genderqueer, trans. About my only real rule of thumb is I don't really see myself going out with straight guys. And that's just because I have difficulty getting over the barrier in my head that straight guys probably just won't get it. But I could be wrong. We stereotype people in our minds. So that's my story, and until I change my mind, I'm sticking to it. Hope you're all well, and we will see you soon, friends.